Hey, 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 welcome into Halos in the Infield podcast. It is a special from the farm podcast. And this is your host, Todd Fox, along with another one of the hosts of the show.
My name's Chase. I don't know what else you want me to say. I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, I'm putting him on the spot, but dude is a professional, even though he appears to not be, or he just plays like he's not. He knows what he's talking about, and that's why we have him on. And he did a little minor league assignment for us. And where did you go?
I went to the Salt Lake Bees game on the 19th this month, and they played the River Cats.
Oh, hell yeah. That was a nice little and how was the stadium, by the way? How'd you like it?
The stadium's nice. Sutter Health Park here in Sacramento. I'm a Sacramento native. I've lived here my whole life. Yeah, it's a nice ballpark. Don't have much else to say. It's your run-of-the-mill minor league ballpark.
Oh, okay. Because usually they do have some attractions, whether it's like, freaking carnival in the center field or something like, or hot tub seating. I don't know.
No, their attraction is having the locker room in left center field.
Oh, wow. What's the attraction?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, let's get into it. What are your assessments, or what stuck out to you right away off the bat? First impressions of it felt like.
Well, the big question that everybody's been asking is Adell ready? So, in my opinion, I say no right now. So, in the game, he went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts.
Yikes, a hat trick.
Yeah, so it didn't look the best. What I did notice was a big point for me, he doesn't make a whole lot of contact, as in like foul balls, stuff like that. He's not even like grazing the ball. He takes big cuts and big misses, and that just doesn't do it for me. Like, I went to the Diamondbacks Angels game, and you see a guy like Stassi up there. He's hacking at some of them, and he's actually fouling off these balls. He's got the contact down, but Adell doesn't have that yet. But granted, when he does put it in play, he puts it in play pretty hard. So I do have to say that for him.
Now, did you notice any changes? Because that's the thing that's been going around. People have been saying they kind of notice a change in his swing from this year to last year. Do you pick up on that as well, like a different launch angle or swing?
Not so much launch angle. I would say more his load. His load is a little bit more compact. If you remember last year, he had this big old like Jared Walsh leg kick that he couldn't quite time it. He would always get his foot down super late. And you saw him toying with a kind of a toe tap earlier on in this minor league season. But now he's got a more controlled leg kick, a little bit lower. I like it a lot more because he's getting that foot down real early.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But you know what? I'm with you on that. If he's not taking too many pitches and he's not fouling off pitches, shortening up his swing, trying to put the ball in play, that to me is troubling. And that to me is why, and probably you feel the same way, they haven't entertained him even coming up yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now with that being said, talking about Adell, let me switch over before I get your first impressions on a team aspect. I got ahead of myself. Sorry about that. But Brandon Marsh, is one of these guys that they just assume is going to come up at the same time as Adell. They're going to be brothers through the minor leagues and brothers in the majors. Do you see him when you saw him the other day, or was he even in the lineup? But I mean, was he in the lineup?
Nah, he's hurt right now from what I remember.
Okay.
But I did see him in spring, so I do have that.
When you saw him in spring, I know he had a terrific spring. But is he the type of player that you would say, judging by what you just saw with Adell, you think he's ahead of him? Like, as far as like, because you don't necessarily need to have hit a bunch of homers coming out of the minors, but if you're making contact, hitting the ball to the gaps, getting on base, do you think his game is going to make it up before Adell?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking during spring training. When I saw him, he's lightning quick. He's got good contact the whole way through, and his glove's a whole lot better.
Okay, because he could play, what, right and left field right now?
Oh, he can play anywhere in the outfield he wants.
Okay. So, yeah, that was my question to you, because I didn't even know he was hurt. But, see, that's why we have our farm specialist right here. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of Angel fans are getting, until the offense has picked up recently, they were just starving for these two guys to make it up. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, I can't see Adell being called up if he's still whiffing so bad. I mean, 0 for 5s with 3 strikeouts is not completely sexy. You know what I mean? if he was 0 for 3 and he had a sacrifice fly, and then he had fouled off a bunch of pitches and a walk or something like that, I think stuff like that's tolerable. But if you're going 0 for 5 with no contact, it's a little bit troubling.
Yeah, I didn't really see any of those long at bats that you want to see out of those guys. So
I know that's a big thing of yours. I know you brought that up to me personally. And the more and more we have Chase on the show, you'll hear about that. He loves to see when batters take pitches, work counts, and that just shows you that they have a good eye, that they've got good plate discipline, and those are the type of players that the Angels want. So that's a thing that if you want to make it to the majors and Chase is your guy to evaluate, that's what he wants. So as far as the team's concerned, what do you think of the Salt Lake team compared to previous seasons where they haven't been good?
Well, you can't quite call them good this season either, considering they are 17-21, which is a little rough. Yeah, guy named Andrew Wantz, he had a really good game when I saw him. He pitched 3 innings, only gave up 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and he has a 2.79 ERA right now. And I have his page pulled up right now. In 2021, he has 6 games and 19.1 innings pitched with 19 strikeouts and a 1.14 whip. So I'm really liking how he's looking. And he looked like he was missing bats and he wasn't nibbling in the strike zone. So,
well, that's the definite plus because that's something that this team has done a lot. We've gotten on the whole Angels squad for nibbling too much for some reason.
Yeah.
So is he like a power pitcher or is he more finesse? What type of pitcher is he?
Oh, geez. He's a lot more accurate.
Okay.
Not quite finesse. He doesn't have stuff that'll blow you away, and he doesn't quite throw hard, but he's like a Zach Greinke type, honestly.
Oh, okay. That's a good comparison then. Anything like that. As long as he doesn't have his, personality, we're good. But
yeah.
So you brought up before we started the show a major leaguer / minor leaguer who's had a cup of teas up here, a cup of coffees, my bad, with the Angels. James Hoyt.
Yes, James Hoyt.
What the Hoyt was wrong with him when you saw him?
He's just missing the strike zone. Plain and simple. When he gave up the one and only run. Okay. That was the big part. And it was to Alex Dickerson, who's down on a rehab stint here.
Oh, wow.
So that alone is already saying you're not quite playing with the big guys. But also, he has 11.68 ERA in AAA, which is quite rough.
Which is very high. Very high.
Yes.
High have major league movement.
Yeah. But we've seen his stuff in Miami, which he played for last year, and I believe he played pretty well in the playoffs. So maybe it'll come back. I can't vouch for it, but hopefully we see a turnaround for him.
And he's another one of these guys that just he has to find his groove because and one of these guys that Perry took a flyer on. Where he's got the stuff, but can he put it together mentally? Can he put it together in a game all at once? And I think we've seen some failures and some success. Now, real quick on the hitting side of the team, is there anyone that stands out besides the 2 big names that did good?
Oh, that did good. Jack Mayfield.
Okay.
Just recently reacquired him from Seattle. He hit a frozen rope out in left center field for a home run. That ball, it was just tattooed, and you could tell off the bat it had some good pop. And he was making good contact the whole game through.
Wow, it's weird that Seattle gave up on him so quick. I mean, they just reacquired him after we DFA'd him, and then obviously Perry liked something in him to get him back. So, I mean, when he came up here, he wasn't too bad. So, I mean, he would be a good utility guy, but just where to put him on the major league roster is the other question.
Don't have a spot for him.
Exactly. So I think he's going to have to hunker down there. I personally, a guy like him, I wouldn't seek him up till September maybe, when they're able to bring up the extra guys if he's still, playing good for AAA. Anybody else that stood out to you or that you think is someone that's not out major league ready, but you could see down the line maybe making a jump?
I could see Matt Theis as a catcher coming up.
Oh, okay. So he
If they really need him, I could see him coming up. He did have, I believe, a walk in the game. Yeah, he had a pretty good eye throughout the game. The body language I didn't quite like because he's more of like that Rendon type that you don't really like, where he's a little bit more laid back and you don't see that kind of fire in him. But he hit a home run that game. I was sitting at a weird angle, so it looked like it was going to be a foul ball. But off the bat, it just sounded different from every other ball in play from the game. So that was a big plus for me. Behind the plate, his defense, he did miss a pop-up, but I didn't see anything else. I think he threw out a guy at second.
Okay.
So yeah, he seems like a very run-of-the-mill catcher, but like should be good enough.
Okay. And then as far as the pitching goes, you brought up a pitcher already, and you talked about Hoyt, but on the roster itself, do you see anyone? Because there's always Jaime and there's a few other guys. But do you see anyone else that's going to be that you figure would make a jump to make either a spot start or maybe help in the bullpen in case of an injury or something just underperforming?
Yeah, I actually saw one that day. He got the win for the game, and it was Jose Quijada. So he pitched extremely well. His line for that night was 2 innings pitched, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and his ERA in AAA is 2.08. So he looked really good, though. He got that walk early, and then he just pounded the zone the whole night, and he just got guys out.
Is he a righty or lefty?
Lefty. He's that bigger guy, the lefty.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's been up a couple times.
It just seems like we have so many lefties on this team, man, in the organization. I mean,
and just to think, a couple years ago, we only had 1 in the bullpen.
Exactly. That was, if you remember Socha years, it was like if you had 1 in the bullpen from the left side, you were lucky. And for the most part, the rotation, sometimes he would have 1 or 2 lefties in the rotation. But yeah, I mean, you did not have anyone out of the bullpen. You didn't have a long reliever that could be a lefty. This team just got a gang of lefties and then a bunch more coming up. Do you believe Reed Detmers is going to make a AAA start, or do you think that at the Angels' disposal, they're just going to pull him up straight from AA?
You know, with the way that we saw Chris Rodriguez go down today, I think Detmers has a chance of coming straight up. Because if they think that Chris Rodriguez will do fine down in AA, and he was already in the majors, I think that they could do it the opposite way and bring him up. And it's been said that the AAA has been a very hitter-friendly league, and that's not quite the place you want to build up a pitcher. So AA is the right place for those guys, and yeah, maybe we'll see Reed Detmers later on this year.
That'd be good, because I did hear the same thing, because I heard that you got a lot of veterans sometimes in AAA. They think that or they seem to think that AA, like you said, is more of a pitcher's type way to develop, because you're facing the more hungrier hitters, guys who haven't made it to AAA, and probably your future stars. So I guess the whole grow together aspect of it, but yeah, that was shocking. What are your thoughts on Chris Rodriguez going down? I know he's been shaky the last couple of opportunities, but did you think he was AA shaky to go back to?
Chris Rodriguez has been shaky, and ever since he's came back, he hasn't really looked like himself. I mean, we've seen how dominant he can be when he's good, but he hasn't been locating a lot of his pitches, and granted, some of the calls have been a little iffy the last series, but yeah, I think a little stint down in AA will help him. AA, AAA, they'll bring him up either way. Like, it doesn't really matter where he goes. It's still games down there to get yourself right. I'm thinking of it more as a get right stint. That's all. I don't think he's going to be staying down there too long, though.
Okay. And then what do you think going along with what happened with that move in the first place? Quintana now coming back supposedly healthy.
Yeah.
What do you do with him?
Yeah, they said they're going to use him in the bullpen, so I'm actually kind of excited to see that, because he gave you a couple good innings, and then he fell off the face of the earth after that. So, yeah, he should be good for a kind of long relief role. Yeah.
Okay, because now in that bullpen it gets lefty crowded. You got Suarez, you got Quintana, and you got Claudio. So yeah, I'm hoping that does work out, because What are your feelings? Because you know how high I am on him. Do you feel the same way, or do you think that Suarez is in the same spot or in a good spot? Regards to, do you think he would be pitching this good in the rotation, like sort of what Sandoval did, or do you think Suarez's niche is right where it's at?
Man, that's a hard call because we've seen what he can do in the rotation, and it's not pretty. But he has made an adjustment to that arm angle, and it seemed to give him a lot more depth on his breaking stuff, which is what killed him in the past because he was throwing a lot of cement mixer sliders and stuff like that that would just hang over the plate and get crushed. But he's been good in the bullpen for, what, 5 innings sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's great stuff to see. And I kind of like him in that role because he can put out a fire like he did in Arizona where he pitched 4 innings after Cobb gave up 6, and they ended up winning that game out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, Diamondbacks fans. That was quite brutal. They really need a win right about now.
You need a few at least. Boy, they're pathetic.
Yeah, but if you're going to bring Suarez into the rotation, who would you take down?
Yeah, that's the only thing too, because I mean, that's why like when they mentioned the Quintana thing, I didn't see the follow up that they were going to move him to the bullpen. So like right away, I was hoping they don't just put him in there because you paid him more. Sandoval's been pitching his ass off, and you see Suarez. I don't know who you can knock out of the rotation unless someone goes down with an injury because Anning's got great stuff. You know, Otani is obviously Otani. Cobb's been pitching much better. You know, these other guys like Heaney, who is up and down, he's actually been more up than down lately. So it's mainly I could only think of one guy, and that's Bundy. You know, if he can't get his act together soon, maybe you have two of your one off-season acquisition from 2020, and then one from 2019, both being guys that now are in the bullpen when they were supposed to be anchoring your rotation. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else to do with Suarez other than where he's at because he's one of these guys where like you said, you bring him into the game, he starts dominating. He maybe gives up just a hit, and that's about it. And he's finding the strike zone, not walking guys. You almost get mad when they pull him. It's like, dude, leave him in, let him finish.
Yeah, let him keep going. But here's an idea. What about trading him? Trading him for some pieces. If he's been good, he might be good trade bait.
I never thought of that. So, man.
I know how hungry we are for pitching, but I mean, it could work out if you trade pitcher for pitcher. It just depends on who it's to.
That's true. That is a good point. My thing, you know, our thing's always been on the Washington side. I'd like to make trade partners with them or Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Although I'd hate to, like you said, hate to see Suarez go, but if you're getting a good pitcher, established pitcher, where there's no question marks, and you know what you're going to get from him, at least, you know, due to his resume. Yeah, I'd have to throw it out there, man. I'd even have to throw out the Adell thing, which I'm not ready to give up on him, even though the scouting report you gave on him. I still think he could be something special, but I don't know if it's this year, you know?
And by no means I'm saying Adell is bad. I'm just saying the one game that I saw him, he did not look good.
Yeah.
But he's been crushing the ball the rest of the year.
Well, yeah, but his average is what, 250 right now?
280.
280. Okay, so he's got it up actually, because I remember the last time I checked on him, he was averaging about 2 to 3 strikeouts per game, and his average had dipped down to about 249, 251, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
that's good. It's got it up to 280, but I mean, realistically, getting back to Adell one more time, what do you think? I mean, do you think his average needs to be over 300 before they even, you know, pick up the phone to call?
No, I don't think it does. I think I see him as like a pure power type. If he can be like a Judge type to where he doesn't make a whole lot of contact, but he gives you the occasional bomb or an extra base hit, I think that's valuable in a lineup because every lineup needs one of those guys that can clear bases.
That's true. I kind of look at it, though, in the way of Upton. I'm not saying Upton has the same kind of power, but it seems like his game completely changed when they put him on the leadoff spot because now you're using that power, but you're using it selectively. And his batter's eye, for whatever reason, has gotten so good at that leadoff spot. I think that's the reason why they lost on Sunday, because they didn't have him in the lineup. You know, one of his hits or one of his walks could have been the difference. And you know, I hope that Adell can use that kind of plate discipline because I think he could be 10 times the player Upton is if he were to be just a little more disciplined up there. And like you said, Judge is a great reference. Judge does strike out a lot, but he also walks a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
get that on base percentage up. And I do have to add, Adell has been hitting in the leadoff spot, so I mean, we're seeing what we can out of him, and he's getting all the at bats. He got 5 in that game, so.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely auditioning him too. So what are your expectations of this team turning out? Like how many guys do you think that they are going to use or send up to the Angels? I know it's kind of a crazy question, but like, do you think that there's a few guys like, or you have a hand-picked number of guys you think they're going to audition at some point at the big leagues?
I don't think we've seen the last of Jose Rojas.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game. He only had one official at bat because he walked 3 times.
Damn. Okay.
His eye is getting a whole lot better, and I didn't see him swinging at any of the pitches that were at his eyes.
Okay, see that's a plus.
That's a big thing. Yeah, he was doing that a whole lot up with the Angels. But yeah, I'm seeing good things from him. His fielding's still there. He is batting 143, but I do think that's just because he's only had a few at bats in the AAA because he just got sent down. But yeah, him and Mayfield, I think they're going to send up Mayfield at some point because somebody's got to get injured at some point, and he's the next guy up. So, who else? Probably Ben Boom at one point because you're going to need a catcher at some point again too with an injury, something like that because somebody's bound to get hurt.
That's true. Do you think they would call up Ben Boom faster than Theis?
Yeah. Theis is still honing his craft at catcher.
Okay. I don't know the contract status on Theis. He probably has a couple more years of control, if I'm not mistaken. But some of these guys, you got to start figuring out. I mean, if they're ready or not, because they put in some years already. We've seen them on the major league level. Some guys get it. Like I know Stassi was one of those guys where I was just pissed off we got him because I'm like, dude, we're trading a pretty good catcher, Maldonado, at the time. For a guy who just can't hit his weight. And, was a good defensive catcher. But, boy, if you would have told me Stassi's doing the stuff he's been doing, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have been like, dude, you're smoking crack. But he's definitely been, like, now a catcher that I know, like, because I looked into his contract status, and we actually have him for another year or two of control before he would
a couple of years of arbitration.
Yeah, and I thought that's a steal. If he's hitting like this now, that's a steal. What are your thoughts on Stassi? Can he? Because a lot of people have been saying we don't have a catcher, we don't have a catcher, we don't catcher. Is he our answer in your opinion?
Yes, way better than Kurt Suzuki. Whenever I see Kurt Suzuki in the lineup, I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Just put Stassi in the lineup. He's good for a hit or two.
Yeah, on the post game show, someone said, why does Ohtani have to have Suzuki as catcher? I said, well, they speak the same language. They get along pretty good. And then someone messaged, well, then send him a Rosetta Stone. Let Stassi learn. But do you think he can be an everyday catcher?
Oh, yeah. Given the right circumstance, I mean, the Angels don't quite have the right circumstance for him, considering that Suzuki is Ohtani's personal catcher, which, I mean, I don't have a problem with because Ohtani has been lights out with Suzuki. Now, if Suzuki starts messing up games left and right again with, like, defensive mishaps like he has in the past, then I'll be a little more apt to putting Stassi in that situation.
Okay. And then I had another question for you, and this is like an organizational type question. It's a little difficult to judge, but just an opinionated type question I'm going to ask for you here. Given everything that the Angels have gone through as an organization over the last few years, and then also the fact that new regime this year, we're still, jury's still out on Perry. It's a long-winded question, but just hang in there with me. Do you think that the Angels, much like the Boston Red Sox did over a good offseason, organizational-wise and through free agency and trades, do you think they can fix the majority of their problems and go into next year as a contender?
They got a lot of money this offseason, so I'd say anything is possible. We haven't seen quite what Perry has been doing because he holds his cards close to his chest, but I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance that he makes the right moves this offseason.
See, I'm glad you said that because this is the first time in a long time I've been very optimistic, not only of the trade deadline coming up, but the off season as well. I'm not calling this season by a long shot, but just the fact that, like you said, there's a lot of money on the table, and Perry seems to be like a no nonsense type of guy, something that the Angels haven't had in a while. So I guess it's a little bit of optimism for next year because we've gone down this as Angels fans, this road so many times of a promising offseason and just nothing coming through. And do you think in your mind it's going to take a $300 million pitcher, or do you think we can do more? Better?
Man, that's a tough question because, I mean, I like saving a lot of the money and just dispersing it equally to guys. But I mean, if you get the right guy and he's worth $300 million, like if Rendon turns it around, he'll be worth it in my mind because I love his defense. It plays well there, but we haven't seen his old 2019 form or years like that. But yeah, if you find the right guy, I think you can shell out the money for him.
Okay. Now I'll throw you another curveball. Who is the right guy?
Oh Jesus, I don't know. I'm not the GM.
I don't know. I just had to put you on the spot on that one. My bad, bro.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, let me go back on this one since we've seen a couple years in a pinstripe uniform. Do you think the Angels throwing $300 million at him and getting him would have been worth it, judging by his numbers just with the Yankees?
Ooh, I don't think they would have been competitors with him yet.
Oh.
The last couple years have been kind of meh on the offensive standpoint. And then they got Rendon, which has kind of been a shot in the arm to him. Like last year, he really picked it up in the second half, and we just haven't seen enough offense left. Well, we've seen a lot of offense this year. But I don't know if he would have helped them enough to get him to the playoffs yet. I think we're more than one piece away. Okay. You need to fix the bullpen more.
Okay. See, that's wow. Okay, that's a different thing because a lot of Angel fans would go the other way, but it does make sense that if the bullpen was in a better spot, even with the mediocre pitching at times this team's had, this team could be a few more games above 500. I mean, they're 36-36 right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they could seriously be 42 and 30 right now with just a few games saved. So
hey, Todd, if they had a better bullpen, we wouldn't be saying Buttercup after every third game. That's evidence enough.
That's true. There wouldn't be no Buttercup, and then you didn't see the shirt that Haas came out with.
Yeah, it looks good.
With a blow pin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there would not be any of that stuff, man. So, any other thoughts on the trip up there to see the Salt Lake Bees in your hometown?
Well, I do have to tell my story of my experience. I was sitting right up on the corner of the dugout, right at the end, towards the outfield. And I'm right on the corner, right by where the first base coach box is. So I got 5 baseballs that day, right? I gave them out all to the kids behind me, right?
Nice.
It's a great feeling, yeah? And then at the end of the game, the security guard lady that was, like, I was talking to her the whole time, she's like, hey, like, there was fireworks going off that night, because it was Saturday night fireworks. They do that every Saturday. But she told me, hey, go to the other end of the dugout. We got a broken bat for you. And I'm like, oh, really? And that's where I got this puppy. All right. So it's Preston Palmeiro. Broken bat, looks pretty damn good. And then another thing that I found interesting, look at the grip tape. Isn't that Joe Adell's?
That looks like it. Yeah.
That looks like a 7 to me. Unless he was number 7 down in Double-A with the Trash Pandas, because I believe he just got called up. And Palmeiro, if you guys don't already know, he's the first baseman for the Bees right now. Really skinny guy. He went 1 for 2 in our game with 2 walks. He's batting .275. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. This is my first ever bat I've gotten from a game. If you could see back there, I've got a bat rack that it goes on in my room. So, pretty cool stuff.
Is it going to hold together? Because that's a pretty gnarly crack.
Oh no, it's pretty held together already, and I still got the pine tar on it, so I gotta wash my hands.
Well, that's cool though, man, because that'll be what, your third bat. I think I see two on the rack back there.
Yeah. So this one right here, that's a Mike Tonis bat. It's brand new. He lives in Sacramento. He only played, I think, one game in the majors ever. And then this one, the other one, it's wrapped in like barbed wire. It's like an old like Little League bat that we wrapped in barbed wire. My brother used it as a Negan cosplay for like Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was that's there for self-defense if I need it, I guess.
Yeah. Don't okay, note to self, don't go into Chase's room unannounced. Wow, dude. 'Cause, yeah, that's definitely a Negan bat, dude. I mean,
It's got blood on it too. Not real blood, but it's got blood.
Cool, man. I won't. Hey, no, I'm not gonna ask no questions. Whatever you guys do, that's on you guys. That's cool, man. That was a nice experience, and yeah, you know what? The kids are probably trying to call you Uncle Chase. I mean, when you throw a ball to the kids like that, that is a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I had kids coming up to me after like the third or fourth ball going like, hey, can I get the next one? I'm like, oh my God, I can't give them out to everybody. So I did my best though.
But that's cool. That's all in the experience. You can't get a ball every time, but when you do though, it's like such a special feeling. Because when I was little and I got a ball, I ran up to my dad and I thought I was the king of the world. You know, it was like the best feeling ever. So you made some kids' day, so that was pretty cool, bro. That was pretty cool. So, any other thoughts on the Bees or the Major League squad?
Let's hope they're ready soon. We need the help in the bullpen, and just need help in general. We need to get this team to the playoffs.
Yes, we do. And as of today, though, real quick, one final thing I got is Oakland lost today. We have 2 games now with the Giants. So we picked up we're 7 back right now, a full touchdown and an extra point. Giants, Yankees, Rays. What do you think they finish in those 9 games?
Oh, how many games is the Rays series?
I don't know offhand, but one of them is a 4-game set. So I'm thinking it's the Yankees because we had a 4-game already with Tampa.
So of 9 games,
9 games.
I'm saying we win 6.
Oh, 6 out of 9. See, I take that.
Yeah,
I take
because I think they're going to do decent against the Rays because the Rays have been hitting a pretty good skid right now. And from what I saw of them playing the Giants last time, I'm kind of hopeful for that series.
I am too, although they faced Gossman and that Adell something or other. I can't pronounce his name, but combined they're like 15-3. So
it'll be a tough task, but I'm sure we can push across enough runs when Shohei's pitching.
I'm hoping, dude, because I'm no lie, dude. I am worried about that Giants series.
Yeah,
the Yankees, they don't look like the powerful Yankees of the past, and the Rays, like you said, have hit a skid lately. They just got swept by Seattle, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to those series. I think we're going to go toe to toe with them. It's just the Giants one. I'm like, man, we can't afford to have those errors, you know, because if we do, I think the Giants are going to take advantage. They're just hitting on all cylinders right now.
If you see the Angels give up a couple runs in that series, like it's going to be over. You got to keep it tight as far as defense and pitching. And if the pitching's good, I know the offense will carry them because it's going to be close scoring games if they're going to win.
I agree. Well, good stuff, Chase. Let's not make this something that's only once in a lifetime. Let's do this a lot, dude, because I want to get you on the show a lot, and the more and more comfortable you are, you know, obviously we have an extra spot now. So if you want to jump in with some major league talk, even, or just be our Angels beat writer from up north that could take care of the minors and talk about the team itself, dude, I'm all for it if you are.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Okay, well, I'm just putting a challenge out there.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it later.
All right. See, I was trying to get you to sign a contract live here, or
I don't have my agent with me, Todd. I can't talk about that.
You know how I do. I have to flip my press a little bit. All right. So this has been an Angels podcast here on Halos in the Infield, and we thank you guys for listening or watching, tuning in. And this is my boy Chase, and I'm Todd Fox. And
I'm Chase. Once again, oh, sorry, you put me on the spot again. I thought I was doing the outro too.
do you want it? You want to take us out?
Nah, you got it.
Okay, just making sure. All right, but that's the little boy right there. We'll holler at you again. See, you threw me off my game. So take it easy, guys.
All right.